Hello and welcome to our virtual wisdom circle episode of the heart behind the daily hustle of champions powered by exceptional connections. I'm Cindy O'Neill Dady, the founder and chief connector of Exceptional Connections, a community I've had the joy of leading since 2009. Once a month, our conversations to connect are a little bit different. So we've added the heart behind the daily hustle of champions. And this month, we are featuring the amazing Patrice Tabor joining us from Seattle, Washington. Welcome, Patrice.
Thank you, Cindy.
We're so glad you're here. The purpose of our virtual wisdom circle, before we get going, the heart behind the daily hustle of champions, is to spotlight our champion connectors, to elevate their visibility, reveal the heart, habits, and wisdom that fuel their daily success. This complimentary offering is open to all and is designed to cultivate a nurturing environment where authentic stories are shared, practical insights are exchanged, and meaningful connections can truly flourish. At around the 30 to 40-minute mark, we'll open the lines for Q&A. So as you listen, feel free to note any questions or insights you'd like to share later in the program. And before we dive into the secret sauces behind Patrice's success, I'd love to invite her to share a bit about her background and her journey that got you to where you're at, Patrice. So today, those connectors who may not know you can be able to learn more. So, Patrice, the stage is yours. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Cindy, and thank you for this opportunity to really share my journey and some of the pearls that I've learned along the way. So this is a great opportunity, and thank you all for coming. Really appreciate you taking the time today to come and listen to my journey. So it's a joy to have you and a joy to be here today. So I'm going to pull up my presentation. So again, this is a great opportunity to share my journey. I have to start off by warning you though, I am an educator and this might be a little bit different than what you're expecting because I'm probably going to be educating as we go through because this is what I do. I love learning and I love sharing what I learn with others. So I just want to start off with that. So what I'm going to cover today, a little bit about my background, about my passion, my values, my guide for living, and the daily practice that I have enjoyed, as well as my offer and what I have for you today. So this is what I'm going to be covering in my presentation. So it all started back in 1969 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's where I grew up. And this is what I enjoyed doing as a child. I was a majorette and I was a member of the Swissvale Hurricanes Majorette Corps. And I just loved playing hours and hours in my backyard, practicing my routines. And I even made up a imaginary majorette troupe with a roster and everything. I made up everybody's name and I would teach them my routines and I would spend hours and hours doing this. This is what I love to do. And whoever guessed that this would be part of my trajectory, launching me into my career. So there you go. Really, my first love was biology. I loved biology. That was my favorite subject in high school. So I decided to pursue a healthcare career. And I got a Bachelor of Science degree in medical technology from Slippery Rock University in Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania. Now, this was an hour and a half north of Pittsburgh, and it was great because my parents, it was far enough that my parents couldn't just drop in on me on a weekend. but I could go home if I wanted to. So it was a perfect location, and they had my degree, and I had a wonderful experience there at Slippery Rock. But after I worked as a medical technologist, I realized I really wanted a career change. And I had two goals. One was to overcome my introversion. I was very shy as a child, and my career as a medical technologist was very introverted career. I mean, I would spend most of the day looking at a microscope or working with an instrument, and I really wanted something more people oriented. So I joined Toastmasters back in 1985 to learn how to be a public speaker. And it helped me build the confidence to make that career change, which I did in 1985. And I've been a member ever since. I'm a 30 plus member of Toastmasters. And I have gone on to leadership roles. I'm now area director for 5 different clubs. And I still enjoy Toastmasters and will continue. I think it's a lifetime, lifetime appointment that I will continue with. It's a wonderful organization. I also realized that I needed to broaden out. So my degree was a very technical degree, but I wanted something that was education based so that I could combine my healthcare background with adult education. So I got a master's in adult education from Seattle U, and I graduated in 96. And this really opened up so many doors. Having that background and that master's made all the difference in my career. My two most favorite employers was Evergreen Health and UW Medicine. Now, Evergreen Health, I was a training specialist. I was responsible for new employee onboarding, new manager onboarding. I also got to teach some professional development classes. It was a great position and I loved it. But then there was a change in leadership and my job changed, and I wasn't too excited about what my new responsibilities were. So that's what led me to UW Medicine. And I was a clinical informatics educator. I taught the electronic health record to medical personnel. And I love UW Medicine. I love their mission, caring for the underserved, especially at Harborview. And it was a great place to work. But then I retired. So in 2023, I retired, and now I'm rewiring myself to become a life coach and trainer, which leads me to invite change. So in 2009, I pursued a coaching certificate program. It was put on by Invite Change, which is in Edmonds, Washington. And, I realized when you're teaching or training that the real learning takes place after the class or after the workshop, because that's when you get to apply what you've learned to your everyday life. So that's why I was attracted to coaching, because I really wanted to make a difference. I wanted to help people not only learn the skills, but apply them and make a difference in their life. So I was a certified professional coach through Invite Change, and also I was accredited through the International Coaching Federation at the same time. And it was a fabulous experience. And I'm still coaching today with this certification. The other thing that has been pivotal in my career is getting involved with Dependable Strengths. Dr. Bernard Haldane was a renowned career counselor here in the Seattle area, and he founded a process called Dependable Strengths Articulation Process. I took his workshop in 2001, and I was so moved by the message and his foundation with really taking a strengths-based approach to life and to your career that I went on and became a certified trainer in 2013. Now, Dr. Haldane, the foundation of his work is called Good Experience Exercise. And I've done this with the Toot Your Own Horn workshop that I offered to ECN some time ago. So it's based on three things: something you feel that you did well, something you enjoy doing, and something that you feel proud of. And this is any time in life or any part of your life. Now, what's so great about this exercise is that oftentimes we get good at a skill or get good at doing something, but it's not something we really enjoy. So that's why I love this exercise, because what he taught us is that your real strengths, your innate abilities that you can help using, are coming from what you enjoy doing and what you're proud of. Okay, I get choked up when I even think about it. And then I move into the star story. So this is the way that you can communicate your strengths by telling your story. Oftentimes we know our strengths, but we don't know how to talk about them. So using the STAR acronym: S, situation; T for task; A for action; and R for result, is how you can communicate your strengths and share them with to share with your client, share in a networking event, really believing it yourself by knowing your star stories. Your strengths is what comes out in the action step, what you did to make it happen. Now, in my workshop, I encourage people to share their star stories. So this is where the power comes, because again, we might know our strengths, but we don't know how to talk about them. So sharing your star story gives you that empowerment to be able to really communicate to others. What is it that you do well? And then you show examples. You have examples or proofs of why that went so well and how you enjoyed doing it. Now, here's a slide on communication, and this comes from a UCLA study, that 55% of our communication is body language, 38% is our voice, and only 7% are the words we say. Now, how many really believe this? Do you think this is true? How do you feel about this slide? Okay, I'm seeing some thumbs up. Has anyone traveled internationally when you didn't speak the native language of the country you were traveling in, but somehow you were able to get by through gestures and facial expressions? You were able to communicate? Well, that's because 55% of what our communication is through our body. No, it's not what we say, but it's how we say it. So that is the key here. So a couple things about communication, and here's where I get into my training mode. I can't help it. That your body language, what do you need to do for body language? Well, first you need to keep your feet planted on the floor. No rocking side to side, no pacing. You want to be planted with your feet evenly balanced on the floor. You want an open position and allow your hands available so that you can gesture. Again, the gesturing, that's where our communication comes. You use your gestures for emphasis. You want to make eye contact with your audience. That's how you build connection with your audience, is that eye contact. Your facial expressions communicate emotion, excitement, or maybe sadness. And then smiling. Smiling goes a long way. A lot of times we forget to smile. But smiling helps you to be more approachable, and your audience will gravitate to you for that smile. So these are some things to keep in mind. What about the voice? Well, you want to vary your tone. No one likes to listen to a monotone. Did anyone ever have a teacher in school that just had that monotone voice and put you to sleep? So you want to vary your tone, almost like an instrument, highs and lows. Vary your tone. Project your voice. Sometimes we speak so softly, but if you're presenting or you're talking with a client, make sure that you project your voice so that they can hear you. Slow down. I think the challenge is when we're nervous and we have a lot to say, we tend to speak way too fast and people cannot grasp what it is we're trying to say. Be genuine. Be yourself. Don't try to be someone that you're not or an imposter. Let your personality come out. Show enthusiasm for what you're talking about. If you're not excited about your subject, your audience isn't going to be excited about it. Be careful, those ahs and ums, those audible pauses, they can be a real distraction. Use the pause for emphasis. Silence is golden, they say. So if you have an important message, zip your lips afterwards and let people soak in what it is that you had to say. So use that for emphasis. Use emotions. People love to hear stories. They'd love to hear your emotion and what you've gone through. That's what they're going to remember. And always breathe from the diaphragm. You never want to breathe up here because your voice will be constricted. So always breathe and get that breath from the diaphragm. Okay, so that was Introduction to Public Speaking 101. I can't help it. Sorry. I'm a Toastmaster. What can I say? All right. My favorite quote of all is Maya Angelou. People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. So again, if you tell your story with emotion, with emphasis, people are going to remember that because you help them to feel what you feel. So what are my values and what really gets me going? As Cindy always says, what is your secret sauce? Really, service is such an important value of mine, even from a very young age. And I remember in high school, I was a waitress and I love serving people. I love serving them breakfast, and they were so appreciative of those bacon and eggs and hash browns that I put in front of them, and it made a difference for me. I went on and I chose a healthcare career. I became a coach. I do a lot of volunteer work. And I love this quote: those who are happy in life are those who have found how to serve. And that's Albert Schweitzer, Nobel Prize winning physician and humanitarian. And the other value, of course, you've heard already, is teaching. I love learning something new and then sharing it with others. That's what gets me excited. So teaching, whether it's online, I teach a class at community college on Introduction to Public Speaking. I just love the community that evolves out of teaching a class. I love learning about other people and their journey. So it really gets me excited is when I have the opportunity to teach. I also have and enjoy a very active lifestyle. Yoga and stretching is usually how I begin the day. I'm a member of the YMCA, so I make sure I get to my yoga class a couple times a week. My husband and I, we do tandem biking. We belong to a biking community here in Seattle, and we love going on biking trips. We have one scheduled in June in the Netherlands, another bike and barge we enjoy doing. I'm learning to play a lot of pickleball in retirement. And it's a great way to meet other people and to build community. It's also, you get exercise. I mean, what's better than that? So I enjoy pickleball. We've been in different tournaments. We were in a tournament in Hawaii, which was very hot, but a lot of fun. And we play a couple times a week here in at the Y. I'm also a member of a hula troupe in Edmonds, Washington, called Lehua Lani, if I could say it right. And this has really been given me so much joy over the years. I've been a member, I think, 4 years now. And we have a big performance every July at the Edmonds Performance Center. And if you get an opportunity, it's just a wonderful event to see all different ages, all the way from the little kids, all the way up to what they call the Gracious Ladies. And that's the senior group that I'm in. But it's a lot of fun. And really, my philosophy for living, and I've learned this through the hula classes that I've taken, is to live aloha. So, aloha just isn't a greeting that you say when you go to Hawaii or come back from Hawaii. It's really a philosophy of life. It's all about kindness, empathy, interconnectedness. It's also a deep respect for life, and it encourages mindful action that fosters positive relationships and community spirit. So I love that, and I try to live aloha in my heart. So here's my daily practice. I believe you should play to your strengths each day. So it's important to know your strengths so that you can make them a part of your day and make them part of your work and your daily actions. Uh, Keep a strengths journal. You can keep a little notebook like this of your strengths, or tell those good experience stories, something that you do well, you enjoy doing, and you're proud of. Keep a little journal of that because your strengths change and evolve as time goes on. Do one thing each day that brings you joy, even if it's just the smallest thing. I know everyone is so busy and full of full schedules, but just take a little bit of time for yourself and to do what you enjoy and recognize the strengths in others. We all have strengths, and it's important to look for those strengths as we work with others in teams or collaboration. Always try to find these strengths in others. So my coaching practice is enjoy strengths-based coaching.com. You can go to my website and you can see more of my services and workshops. But what I'd like to offer you today is an opportunity to discover your good experience stories. Would you like help writing your star stories? Would you like to practice communicating your star stories? As we know, we might know our strengths, but how do we talk about them? You do that with your star stories and explore how to apply your strengths to a challenge. We don't talk about weaknesses. We just talk about areas of non-strength and how we can use our strength to overcome that area of non-strength. So how to align your life really based on your strengths. That's really what it's all about. So feel free to contact me. You can send me an email, enjoycoaching4@gmail.com, or through my website, enjoystrengthsbasedcoaching.com. And I would be thrilled to work with you and get to know you better. Now that you've had an opportunity to learn about me, I'd like to learn about you. So that is the end. Thank you all so much for listening.
Wow. Patrice, what a great, great presentation. I just loved so many pieces of it. I took copious notes here because we've known each other a number of years. You stepped up to be a champion connector in our community. You've been a spotlight speaker. And yet being able to hear your story and your journey has been so much fun. I feel like I know you so much more. You know what I mean? Your passion, your heart. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Cindy, for this opportunity. It was great. I loved it.
So I
Does
love
anyone
how
have
you
questions?
started. Yeah, I'll let everybody just jump in. Feel free to mute yourself, but I just want to start, I just love the little things like you were a majorette and you were a trainer before you were a trainer. You had that vision for yourself. You saw yourself in that role and you were preparing yourself at a young age. I think that's remarkable.
I didn't even know it.
You didn't even know it, but our path opens up, right? It
hmm
opens up before us.
hmm
And you were proclaiming that and you were preparing for that. That's so
hmm
beautiful.
Well, actually, our
Anybody else?
earliest good experiences are often as a child. So paying attention with what you enjoyed doing as a child can give you an insight into your strengths.
Right.
Excellent presentation, Patrice. How soon do you think young adults should start learning their star stories? Like, should this happen at 8 or 10 or like at 45? Like, what's your personal belief on that?
Well, I think middle school is really an ideal time to start looking at that. Kids are
Mhm.
always so hard on each other,
Right?
and I think that's a ripe age to begin really believing your strengths, what you have to offer, and not paying attention maybe to all the noise
Mm,
and competition, whatever's going on in your peer group.
yeah,
That I
excellent.
think that's a an excellent time to start.
Do you want to be speaking at the public schools or at the middle schools then? Is that on your radar? Or you're more focused on the seniors, right? Or the aging gracefully?
Well, that's a good question because yeah, I've been focused on seniors and retirement, um, but I'm really looking at, what is my ideal client? I don't know what the ideal age is, because it could be any age really, but it could be like mid-career professionals, could be business owners that, are trying to launch their business or talk with clients. So yeah, that's one of the things I've been working on is what is my ideal client?
I'm gonna hop in here, Patrice, right onto Marcel because I I've done some coaching and I love to see people identify with who they are at their core and what their passion is and what makes them really tick. My daughter leads a group of teenagers through American Heritage Girls, and she has had some outside speakers. And I'm like, you might be a perfect speaker to come talk with these girls about the star. So I think I'm kind of with Marcel. I think that maybe you want to broaden who you speak to because why wait too long um,
hmm
to um, to let people know that they have brilliance
hmm
on the inside of them?
Yeah, yeah. And it does evolve over a lifetime, but yeah, the key there would be to start early.
Right, right. I enjoyed hearing about your Toastmaster experience because I did about a dozen years in Toastmasters. I'm excited about your bike and barge trip because this year we celebrate our 50th wedding anniversary. 25 years ago, we celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary with a bike and barge trip to the Netherlands. It was just
Oh,
amazing. So we'll have to chat about
wow.
that. Is this your first
Yeah.
time to do that? Is this your first bike and
Oh
barge trip?
no, we've done many. I think this might be number 6.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's
Yeah.
awesome. It's an incredible experience. And I really enjoyed how you tied everything together. It was just a lovely presentation.
Thanks, Marlee. Yeah, I'd like to find out about that group. Maybe they would like a guest speaker.
They just might.
And I need to circle back with you, Patrice, because I'm still, passionate about working behind the scenes on a humanitarian project that reaches out to middle school and high school students. And I think you would
Mm-hmm.
be an excellent mentor. So that's what I'm looking at as not teacher, but a mentor, is creating mentors for that. You have so
Mm-hmm.
much knowledge and so much passion for education. And education isn't just pouring into little mouths, it's giving them having them ask questions, right? And be able to really inquire and
Mm-hmm.
have a hunger for learning, not just receptacles that we fill
Mm-hmm.
up, right? I love that
Mm-hmm.
passion that
Right.
you have for that. And you know what comes to mind that I'm going to go ahead and mention here as I was as I'm listening to you, especially the communication slide. I would love to have you as a champion in our community. I'll have to think of a title for this, but be able to set up our spotlight commercials because I think we all need those reminders of, to anchor ourselves, to be able to use
Mm-hmm.
your arms to gesture, to be able to slow down, not just speed through your commercials. So we'll have to talk about that because
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to give you a few minutes before we do commercials to just, we've done that in the past with breathing with Maki, remember?
Mm-hmm.
But I think it would be fun to have
Yeah.
that communication slide and have you just go through what you shared with us today as a reminder to our community before we stand up and share our
Yeah.
commercial with others. Would you be open to
That'd be
that?
fun. Yeah, I love that.
Awesome.
Sure.
Let's do it. So, anybody else want to chime in and just continue this beautiful conversation with your daily practices? And I love your live aloha. From your experience that you had doing the
Mm-hmm.
your hula troop, you said, right? For 4 years you've
Yeah.
been doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You've developed your philosophy for life that's really made, integrated into, because I feel that spirit in you. I didn't have that identification before, but I definitely feel that spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Chuck, I see you unmuted yourself. You want to join in?
Yeah, I'll join in for a moment. Give my 2 cents. Of course, with inflation, it's probably $2 now. So anyway, yeah. So Patricia, I think it's really good, and I think that uh, it seems to me like mentoring would be a really good thing to do. And I really believe that
Mm-hmm.
we as adults, especially myself in consulting and mentoring, is that we need to reach down, I think, into the junior high, the beginning of the teens, because I think that too many young people today, they're not grounded and they don't have adult mentors around them. You don't see it. And it's too bad because I know when I was a young man in the teens and stuff, I wish I had a mentor and I did not. And I always think back on it that if I had had a mentor, I think I could have accelerated the good things in my life that I had to learn, inch by inch. So that's why I'm in consulting and mentoring because I think people of all ages need grounding and they need to, be adaptable to their situation because you can't I usually can't, but it's not good to let the wind blow you wherever it's going to go, like a boat without a rudder. And I think so many
Mm-hmm.
people do that, and I've been guilty myself of it. So I think it's really good that you do this, and of course, what better time to do it than retirement? So,
Yeah, I have the time.
so that's what I
Yeah.
do. Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
I do really sincerely believe that everybody has a genius zone. And that's why my tagline is tapping into your genius, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the answers
Mm-hmm.
always, but we can figure the answers out. And the people have the answers already in them. Just have to
Mm-hmm.
bring them out. Confidence. that's why too. I just completed 2 years in Toastmasters,
Mm-hmm.
and I went into it so I to develop the skill of speaking spontaneously, right off the top of your head. So it's 2 years of
Yeah.
that. So that was a challenge for me. You got to build confidence to be able to do that, to stand up in front of people and just start
Mm-hmm.
talking off the top of your head and make sense. So for
Yeah.
me, I think that's a one. And I advise everybody that I do mentoring with, I advise them to go to Toastmasters. Every
Mm-hmm.
Because I've never seen anybody not improve significantly
Mm-hmm.
by going to Toastmasters. So yeah, it's great. So anyway, it's my two. So I think you're on the right road, and good for you. You have quite a career already.
Yeah. Thanks, Chuck.
Yeah.
I want to
Thank you.
piggyback off Chuck there too. I actually have my table topics award over there because I did probably 5 or 6 years in Toastmasters. But Patrice, I don't know if you know this, but there is a market niche around messaging consulting and like empowered public speaking. And you keep saying life coach, and I wonder like you're almost like a messaging coach because I would think there'd be a huge niche. There's a lot of videographers that are like, okay, 3, 2, 1, go. And then their clients are like, duh, what do I say? Like the client doesn't know.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of that as a social media manager and video coach. But there's a ton of video people that are trying to get their clients to perform. And if they haven't done Toastmasters and if they don't have a star story, I would say that would be a really great collaborative route, whether you call them social media managers or video coaches or videographers. But it is like pulling teeth sometimes to get a client to step into their star story. And if they don't have one, or if they've, I mean, there's so much you could do. So I'm excited for you. And if you ever want to brainstorm, I feel like there's a lot of people that need your genius.
Wow.
And they're like you see it with reels, people just start rambling. And it's like, get to the point, tell your thing and then be done, right? Like, and they don't have you telling them that.
Wow. Wow. That's an interesting,
Mhm.
new opportunity. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah, because they're not everybody's
Wow.
a Toastmaster. But even a lot of Toastmasters, they want public speaking careers, but they don't know
Mm-hmm.
how to, still package their genius,
Yeah.
yet alone deliver it online, right? And that's where there's this right now shift of people, we have access to so much information, but can we perform? Can we have the behavior of a successful salesperson, marketer, or public speaker? And that's where still a lot of people are trepidatious. And to me,
Mm-hmm.
that's more business consultant or marketing consultant than life coach. But again, you got to do you. I'm saying
Hmm.
there's a huge space out there with people that are like spinning their wheels. So be encouraged.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
And you probably work
Marlena.
with those kind of people a lot in your
Yeah.
business.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and we
Mm.
do a lot of like impromptu speaking through Laugh Tech, and we're teaching people how to kind of roll with it, but we don't teach a specific star story method. We have
Mm-hmm.
different curriculum we run through, but I can see the need out there for sure.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Very interesting.
I love this
Thank you.
conversation.
Yeah.
This is so much fun because it's bringing a real life application or broadening your horizon
Mm-hmm.
because things are changing and they're going to be, I believe, changing even quicker and more. And so to be able to be flexible and be able to pivot, if people really understand their star story and the framework that you've created, then they could
Mm-hmm.
be more extemporaneous, right? Because they've already
Mm-hmm.
pre-thought out those bullet points that you helped me when we did my star story. So I think Marcel's onto something there. You guys, I think, can put your heads together and do something fun because I relate to what Marcel said about putting a camera in front of you and then like wow, but if you know who you are and you know what the points you want to make, then we can all elaborate on that. It's just
Mm-hmm.
getting away from, being on the spot. That's for me, that's always a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Great idea, Marcel. I love it. Um, I
Can I
want
say
to get
more? This
feedback from you guys. Oh, go ahead,
Can I say
Marcel.
one more thing? I love
Sure.
the point in Patrice's story where she was like, I was in the lab looking under a microscope and you wanted to be around people. Like you self-identified. I'm not an introvert. I don't want to be alone every day, all day long, like doing the things with I love that part of your story because some people never figure that out. And I just love that you did. And I'm so happy that you get to be in a people world now because it's fun. As a fellow extrovert, I just think that's really cool.
Hmm.
And also that you're an educator, you love learning and you love sharing with others. That's an awareness too, because there's a lot of people that go to school and they just are one degree after another degree after another degree, but you put those degrees to work in improving. I'm sure you were a great contribution at UW and Evergreen Health. I'm sure they valued and appreciated your input and your training. So I just really love the journey that you've been on and the way you've evolved and also the piece about retirement. Retirement doesn't have to mean it's the end. In many
I hope
regards, you've
not.
done a lot in your retirement. You are doing a
Mhm.
lot, and that's really inspiring and encouraging to all of us, and not only academically, but with your tandem bicycling and pickleball and the hula troop and all of that. That is making you the well-rounded person that you are. So it's just an honor to know you and have you be part of our champion program and be able to share your journey. Um, hey, I want to take a poll here. Patrice has been a spotlight speaker for Exceptional Connections a couple years ago, right, Patrice? It's been a couple years.
Yeah, a couple years ago.
Yeah, I think we need to have you
Mhm.
back. What do you guys think? Share your star
Oh.
story again because I think it's a good tool to be able to have all of us, brush up
Mhm.
and experience. So we'll have to talk about having you come back as a spotlight speaker.
Sure. Yeah, I love it.
Awesome. Well, that's what I love about this is we get to know more about our, champions in our community. And I asked Patrice this before we went live, but I'm going to ask it again because I love her response. So Patrice, what have you learned about yourself in
Mm.
preparing for this presentation and being able to share a little bit about your journey?
Well, it was really the reflection of, looking at my entire journey, all the way back to when I was a child and you don't have the opportunity to reflect on your life very often. So I really appreciated this opportunity to really look at the look at my life, 2,000 feet view. And it was very meaningful. Also, what are my values and you know what what makes me, get up in the morning. And so I really like this opportunity.
And one thing that occurs to me is like I have a sense that you're proud of your journey too. And that came through in your presentation.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so again, the opportunity to pause and reflect wasn't actually in the original thought process of this presentation. It was
Hmm.
being a contribution to our community by sharing your secret sauces and the things that you've learned along the way. But I love that it's a blessing to those who are participating as well. So thank you for sharing that. That's really, really amazing.
Hmm.
So, what encouragement would you offer others as we come to a close here, for those who are listening, well as those who are champions that are going to be preparing, a heart behind the daily hustle of champion presentation themselves? Maybe it's kind of twofold question there.
Hmm. Well, I think just knowing your strengths and really diving deep into your strengths, coming up with examples of how you've utilized your strengths and be able to talk about them and just have it on the tip of your tongue. So if you are in a marketing or a networking event, you're at a dinner party, that it's right there. You don't have to, dig so deep because they've they've been unearthed and, refreshed and ready to go. Also having your elevator speech, you know, having all that ready and just getting out there and being able to network and share your strengths with others leads to new opportunities.
Absolutely. And possibly one for yourself as well, because whether
Mhm.
it's social media, like Marcel was mentioning, prepping people for videos, being able to be really clear what their star story is, or even giving your spotlight commercial for networking events. You need to be, it's important to be articulate and clear on who you are and who you serve and what you want to be able to share with others. So
Mhm.
thank you for that. So any other last thoughts from anybody before we close here?
I also think we should somehow all learn to hula dance with your support, Patrice. Like, come teach the star story, come teach us how to use our hips. Like, that would be so fun. Or just invite me to come to Edmonds with you one night if that's a thing, because I think that's awesome. I just love that there's a little bit of Hawaii here in the Pacific Northwest. So that was really cool to learn about from you.
Maybe we could do a garden party hula party, right?
Ooh, have some tiki torches.
Tiki torches. Yeah, that's right. Get in the spirit of things. That would be fun. It's not mandatory though, Chuck. Oh, I love this. Well, this has been a super fun conversation. Thank you so much for being able to share your heart with us, your journey with us. And I want to remind everybody to make every connection an exceptional connection. All right, signing off, everybody. Bye.
Bye.